Walter, and you just found this photo.
Yes.
This is very uncanny and incredible. On Finding Heroes, we uncover lost artifacts with a name or identifying number on it, research it, and connect it to a soldier. Our lost artifact this time is a bit unusual. It's a lost plane that to this day has not been found. It's part of an 8-decade-old mystery, and some believe it's the story that started the myth of the infamous Bermuda Triangle. The plane in question is a PBM Martin Mariner search and rescue plane, codename Training 49. On the evening of December 5, 1945, with 13 men on board, all volunteers, the PBM Martin Mariner took off from a U.S. naval base south of Cape Canaveral in Florida. Their mission was to help find a squadron of 5 Navy planes known as Flight 19 that were believed to be lost north of the Bahamas. Less than 30 minutes into the flight, an eyewitness from a nearby ship said he saw a mid-air explosion resulting in a 100-foot-high fireball. Sadly, it was believed that the explosion and crash was the loss of the PBM Martin Mariner Training 49. The strange thing is that to this day, not a single piece of the Martin Mariner has ever been recovered. The fate of Flight 19 was the same. All 5 planes and their crews disappeared without a trace. Over the years, the disappearance of Flight 19 has become legendary, with its connection to the many losses of planes and ships in the Bermuda Triangle. On the other hand, the Martin Mariner has almost been forgotten. Though dive expeditions have searched for the wreckage, the plane remains elusive. And to this day, the PBM Martin Mariner has not been found. And little is known of the 13 crew members who went missing that fateful night. With the help of Ancestry, I want to be the first to put faces to the names of the men of Training 49, with the goal of finding a living relative. I began digging deep into the massive family history records collection on Ancestry. I started getting a clearer and better understanding of each of the men. I first noticed that the crew members were from right across the United States. Then a shocking revelation. I discovered that 3 of the crew members were just 18 years old. And I think it's one of the saddest parts of this story that these 3 young men who had just really joined the U.S. Navy volunteered to go up and try to find Flight 19, and all of them lost their lives doing so. The files paint a picture of just how devastating it would have been for these families. As I continued searching, I was trying to see if any of the crew members had children at the time the plane disappeared. I thought this would be the best way to find a living relative. We came across the name of the pilot and the oldest member of the crew, Walter George Jeffrey from Los Angeles, California, who was born in 1918. A 1930 census form showed that Walter was the youngest of 3 children to Ozan and Bertha Jeffrey. On a marriage index, it showed that Walter married Monica Mary Kitterman in October 1940. But it was on a 1945 Florida census form that I finally found what I was looking for. And on it, it lists Walter, his wife Monica, and underneath, Walter Jr. They had a son who was 2 years old at the time. This is the only piece of evidence that we could find that one of the men on board the Martin Mariner Training 49 was indeed a father. I had to find Walter Jeffrey Jr. It took a bit of time, but I contacted Walter, who still resides in Southern California. He's 80 now, and I'm truly honored to be able to meet the son of the pilot of the Martin Mariner lost so many years ago. Walter.
How do you do?
A pleasure to meet you, sir. Oh, thank you. Because you were only, 2.5 years old when your father went missing on the Martin Mariner. I mean, what did your mother say about your father?
That he was a very caring, very loving man. She was without a doubt in love with him till she died.
At the time I met Walter, I only seen one photo of his father. So I was wondering if he had a few others to show me. And boy, did he. Is this when he first enlisted?
Yes, I believe it says 37, 38.
So this is when he was about 20 years old.
Correct. And this is their wedding picture.
And this is your mother, Monica?
Yes.
Walter had so many wonderful photos.
This is the only picture that I have of him in the plane.
Even one of his father as a pilot. He just looks natural there, doesn't he?
Yes, it looks happy. It looks happy. This is late 43.
This is such a stunning photo. When Walter showed me this beautiful photo of him as like a 6 to 8 month old baby in the arms of his mother and father, it really touched me. That's when I had to show him the 1945 census form. I thought I would surprise Walter with the information that he was the only child of a crew member from the Martin Mariner.
And this was 1945?
That was 1945. But he surprised me.
Because my brother...
Your brother?
Was born in 1945.
I mean, Walter had a brother. I mean, there was no evidence of anything that I came across in the files and records that said that Walter and Monica had a second child.
He was 7 weeks old when Dad was killed.
And what's your brother's name?
Robert.
Robert. So this census must have been done then, sometime in the summer, because your father's listed at 27, so he turned 27 in June. So prior to October, that window.
Between June and October.
So you're listed and your brother isn't.
Yes.
I don't know, it touches me even more to know that there was two of you. Do you have any information about that day on December 5th, 1945 that you can tell us? Like, Mother ever tell you about what exactly unfolded?
Early afternoon, he was mowing the lawn when they called him.
He was mowing the lawn?
He was mowing the front lawn at the house. They called him and he got his stuff and left. He left in a hurry to get down there and volunteered for the search operation.
So your father gets a call and he doesn't hesitate. It was priority for him.
Yes.
To get to the base, to go out and try to save the men of Flight 19. Your mother talk about how she dealt with the disappearance, because the Martin Mariner and Flight 19, of course, not a trace of the planes or the crew have ever been found. So how did that affect your mom?
She didn't have any information for several days as to, what was going on. She grew in time to accept the fact that he wasn't coming back. I don't believe my grandmother, his mother, ever did.
Really?
I think it is until she died, she expected to see him come up the driveway someday.
So she was still holding on to hope.
Because of the fact that nothing was ever found, that there was always that chance that he survived it.
What do you feel like about this association that Flight 19 and the Martin Mariner has with the Bermuda Triangle?
I think it takes away from it because it's not a myth. This is real. I mean, this is what actually happened, and this is something that you read about, and my brother and I lived it, and it makes it a lot different for us.
There was one last photo that Walter needed to show me.
This is the number I had in high school, and I never had any connection with that until I started going through these pictures.
No way.
Information and the flight number. So
you literally just found this photo the other day?
Yes.
You in a football jersey when you were in high school with the number 49.
Yes, and I never put that association together. And that was the number I had during high school.
This is very uncanny and incredible. I got goosebumps at that moment because I really truly felt that Walter Jeffrey, though he's been gone since 1945, was looking after his sons. When you look back now, and after these years, do you consider your father a hero?
Oh, definitely. I mean, anytime you give your life, to try and save someone else or to try and help someone else, and I think that's the definition of a hero.
It's essential we seek out stories within our own family, so these invaluable and fragile accounts, like Walter Jeffrey's, are passed to future generations before being lost. In effect, this honors our ancestors' sacrifices and celebrates their grit, their tenacity, and above all, their humanity.